Okay, so today we're going to be going over a little bit about how families come to terms with navigating recruitment and why so many of them go it alone rather than actually getting an expert help throughout it.
Yeah, so obviously we talk a lot about soccer, a lot about recruitment, and one thing that we see a lot is like people not really open or seeking out help in recruitment. Like why is that?
Yeah, I think it's a weird one because obviously if you come to like whatever state you're in, 15, 16, 17, and you learn you can now drive, you don't take the test the next day. You go out driving with your parents, your older siblings, you get the professional lessons, and then when you're ready, you take your driving test.
Yeah.
If you're injured, you don't just self-diagnose yourself, you go to a physio and you work on it with them. If you want to become a professional soccer player, could you become a professional soccer player without a coach? I mean, I guess technically, yeah, but probably not. Like going into your garden or your backyard and just kicking a ball against the wall, it will help, but alone, it's not going to get you to where playing for a soccer club would, working with a coach, working with a personal trainer to get you to the next level. Whereas the big thing that you see is like when it comes to recruitment, which obviously we think is probably the biggest decision a family's ever going to make in their life to this point, they think, oh, I'll go it alone. Yeah. So they do everything with an expert's help. Even like if you want to get good at education, you go to high school. Like you don't just sit at home and read textbooks all day. And everything else is done with expert help with a rhyme and reason behind it. And a lot of that stuff is done to the goal of then getting to college. But then you want to play soccer in college and you think, I'll just figure it out alone.
Yeah. One example that ties like perfectly into that is like SAT, ACT tutoring. Like those kids are doing that to get a higher score to get a better scholarship in college, and they're hiring tutors. They're doing study sessions. Like they're not doing it alone. So it's interesting to see that.
Yeah, and I think the thing is like, why in the big decision you'd ever make, when you've had help all the way through your life, you decide I'm suddenly going to go it alone? Because obviously, as we speak about in other calls, like recruitment is very, very tough. Like the top 2% of players get recruited. As you probably heard us say before, the 98% of you, the majority of you, are going to have to get recruited yourself and go through that process, and you're deciding to go through that alone, which we know is tough.
Yeah. So when it comes to recruitment, like everyone is kind of doing just the traditional recruitment process. Sending your emails, going to ID camps. Hoping that process works for you, and for some people it does, but for some people it doesn't, and so that's kind of the danger of doing it by yourself. You don't know if there's going to be a result.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's crowded, it's confusing, it's ever changing. Like it's changed more in the 6 months than it probably has in the 2 years beforehand. Yeah. And people that have maybe been going through recruitment since their sophomore year, they get to their junior year, now it's changed, and they have no one to ask for help. Listen, they can ask their club coaches, but the club coaches aren't experts in this. Yeah. Their job is to run the team and run the club. Yes, some of them have some knowledge, but it's not like you wouldn't work with us to become a better soccer player and have us coach you, because our full-time job is to help people get into college. Yes, we have a good soccer knowledge. Yes, you have your coaching badges and we coach, but you probably wouldn't come to us as the main source. But the same with coaches. You're going them to work as a player, get better in your position, and you might use them with some advice for college recruitment, but then you want to actually use someone that's in it day in, day out as well, because then you're getting caught in, these coaches are advising all the players to do the same thing, every club, and then you're getting caught in this is what everyone else does trap.
Yeah, for example, at a club where they use their connections to connect players with colleges, like if they have two teams that wanted to go play in college, they're sending all of those exact same players to the same coaches. They're not going to be the right fit for all of them.
No.
So it's like what you're doing, what your club is telling you to do, which is that, and you're not going to get the result that you want because you're pretty limited in that aspect. So going into that with the other aspects of it, like emailing, ID camps, there's thousands of other Americans in your position doing that, as well as internationals doing this. Well, not the same thing, but that are competing for you for those spots.
Yeah.
And it's just. It's a very difficult process.
Yeah, and even with that, it's like those relationships the club has. A college coach is not going to take 10 players from the same club, because then it's just a club team at that point. How are they going to progress and bring different athletes in from different areas? So like they might take 1 or 2 players from the club, but then you've got a limit to where you can go, rather than actually exploring the recruitment process in itself. Because I think the big thing that people think is, like you were saying, with going to ID camps and playing for your club and emailing coaches and that sort of thing, players are trying to get seen, but they're trying to be discovered.
Yeah.
And the best example I heard the other day with a club that we work with in Canada is they were saying, if you're an extra on a set in a movie, you're not going there to be like an extra that's eating in the background, hoping you're going to get discovered as the next Brad Pitt. Like, you're just going there for a paycheck. Like, it's the same in soccer. You're not going to get discovered at an ID camp or a showcase. Like, if you're going to an ID camp, coaches rarely recruit from ID camps, as you've heard us say a lot before, but they maybe invite some players that they already know they want, and they're looking at them.
Yeah.
Everyone else is there to fundraise. If they go to a showcase, like an ECNL event, for example, most coaches we speak to at ECNL events know who they're there to see. Yeah, I've heard about this guy, I've seen this guy before, I'm here to double check on them. Very rarely do they say, oh, I saw this kid today, he was unbelievable, and I'm now going to sign him. So you're hoping to get discovered, where that's not really how recruitment works. And then we go into the kind of the part which is the cost of recruiting. Now, maybe families don't go with a service like a Primus because they think it's too expensive. Like a service like us might cost between like $2,000 to $4,000, for example, and the more might be less. Depends obviously what they offer, but the general cost of that is that.
Yeah, and then compared to doing it by yourself, I mean, like the cost of a single ID camp was on average $225.
Yeah.
So if you're going to 10, I mean, you're already at over $2,000. Is there a guaranteed result from those? Are you going to guarantee to get discovered from those? No. You go to 20 and it's already over $4,000. So like where is like the kind of perspective on how much money people are spending?
And we spoke to some athletes that worked with us that had gone to over 20 before they worked with us. And like, that doesn't even include, like, that's just the ID camp cost. What about hotel, rental car, flights if it's somewhere else, food, or the fuel, like all that sort of stuff at the moment. Like, then you're looking at, that's why families, well, yeah, it might be spread out, but they're spending 7, 8, 9, 10,000 trying to get their son or daughter recruited with no guarantee of a result.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're going to invest, you'd invest actually less with maybe a service like a Primus or something else, where you actually know there's going to be results and there's someone out there that you can hold accountable for getting that work done. And now, working with a Primus or an expert in the field doesn't mean they're going to do absolutely everything for you. You can still actively go chat to coaches and email coaches and have an involvement. You're going to have guidance and know why you're doing these sort of things. And it's the big thing is just like people randomly do recruitment, but there's no strategy behind it. And like you think about with an international player, for example, an international player to come abroad and get a scholarship has to use a company like us. They have no idea how the system works. Coaches are not going to be able to field emails from American players, let alone how they can do that from internationals. Coaches rely on a Primus and other organizations to get their international players and now domestic players a lot of the time too, but they use it and they get results and they know why everything's happening, and they've got a kind of expert in the system. But because obviously Americans in America, maybe they think they don't need that. Obviously, as you've heard probably a lot of us say before as well, that the US system for American football and basketball is very different to the American football and soccer. And that's when the confusion comes in, is that you're not just competing against Americans, you're competing against internationals, and people think, oh, it's a lot of money to invest in that. When you break everything down, especially if you play for an ECNL team, you're spending over 10 grand a year sometimes traveling to ECNL Vegas, ECNL Florida, ECNL South Carolina, etc. And that's outside of ID camps. Like, I mean, I think you spoke to a family in ECNL Vegas about something similar to that, right?
Yeah, I mean, they, as you just mentioned, in the month of January, had 3 ECNL events, and they're from St. Louis. So they're literally traveled from St. Louis to Florida, back to St. Louis. So that's
what, probably return flights for the family there, you're looking at 1 to 2 grand?
Exactly. Hotels, back to St. Louis to South Carolina, back to St. Louis, and St. Louis to Vegas for 3 weekends in a row ECNL events.
So that's probably around 8 grand for that month. And think about...
And did they have any results? No. Talk to them to see if they spoke to any coaches at all. None.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's not including like food, the rental car and everything. Like, and that's just that month. Think about what they did last year and what they've got coming up just from ECNL events. That's not ID camps. That's whole, some families, if you include in a 4-year span, they can spend up to 10 to 20 grand trying to get recruited. Whereas they could work with a Primus and spend, 20% of that, less than 20% of that, and actually have a rhyme or reason to why they're doing things.
Yeah. All right, and then another big issue that we're seeing is generic recruiting help. Like I talk to a lot of clubs, for example, and they say that they use sports recruits, for example, and great for them. They feel like that's making a difference, but are they really getting the results that they want with that? Because when you work with, you put yourself in a portal, you put your tape, put some qualifications that you have, your GPA, that kind of stuff. Coaches, are they going in there and scrolling portals looking for like the next talent that they want for that recruitment cycle? Very rarely.
Yep.
And do they come with like any kind of support or instruction on like how to have those conversations if coaches are reaching out to you? No.
Yeah.
Do they? I mean, so that's one issue that we're seeing. Like, are you getting options that make sense for you, or is it just options that are just there because you're in a portal?
Yeah, I think the thing is they'll give you on these portals like generic email templates, but there's another 500 people using that portal. They're doing the same email templates. Yeah. So coaches look at us, the same thing. They're not replying to these emails. Or like you said, you're going into those portals. How do you know how many coaches use them? Or maybe let's say 20% of coaches use them, and then maybe the ones that actually like you, again, they don't do a degree. They're not where you want to be. Maybe they're in the middle of Mississippi. You're in New York. You have no idea why you want to go there, and it doesn't make sense for you. I think you're back where you were. You still basically have no offers.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big thing in bringing this all together into why would you want the expert help? Now, do you actually need the expert help? Technically, no. You can go it alone. And for some people, it will work. For some people, it won't. But it's more risk and reward. You're throwing something at the wall and seeing if it sticks, seeing if the glue is strong enough, if you will. But there's a lot of athletes that we speak to that are like, oh, I wish I played college soccer, or I really wanted to, but it didn't work out for me. If you want to, there is now support out there for you to do so. I'm not just saying Primus. I'm sure there's other companies that are great as well. Obviously, the reason that we exist, it's very easy for us to say that, but we exist because people need our help. Coaches want to get put in touch with the right players. And like the best example I can give is Owen Sexton, for example, an athlete we started working with 4 years ago when he was a freshman in high school. Sorry. He's now just accepted an offer as a couple of weeks ago. He got 9 offers from Primus, or had 9 conversations, which I think led to like 5 offers. We narrowed that down to his top 2. He did the final visits and he picked his favorite one. He, without us, no options. He played for a good team. He played for St. Louis in MLS Next. So played for a good team, didn't get any options himself. With us, he got a clear structure. The recruitment worked. It's proof in the pudding. He got 9 conversations with coaches, 5 led to offers. He now also has our support till the day he graduates. So his family probably saved thousands of dollars and had a more active recruitment cycle than some of his friends that played for his team. Nothing, they're not playing college soccer. Yeah. And they didn't get the chance to do so. So I think the big thing I can say to everyone is, do you need it? You don't need it. But if you know you want to play college soccer and it wants to be in your journey, then 100% it should be something that you consider. Yeah. Whether that's with Primus or someone else. With us at Primus, if you wanted to explore that, we'd have a call with you, learn about you, your goals, and we'd tell you, obviously, what the process would look for yourself. But it's about working with someone, having that help, just like you would, like you said, to pass the SAT, you get a tutor. Yeah. So you drive with your parents, you do lessons, and you get your driving test. If you want to play college soccer, the support should be there as well.
Yeah, I agree.